Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's going to be another range trip. Today, I'm bringing out something I haven't shot in a long time. A gun I really love, a cartridge I think is super underrated and just super fun to shoot. We're going to be shooting the 257 Weatherby today. It's been like 8 months since I've shot it. And today we are going to be testing out a bullet I think is one of the best bullet options for a high speed 25 caliber cartridge. The 101 grain LRX. Now, if I'm being completely honest, my gun up to this point hasn't really liked this bullet. It can shoot it sub MOA with Reloader 22, but you can't really get Reloader 22 anymore. I recently picked up N560 and N565, and N560 has been working great in my 340 Weatherby. I haven't actually tried it in my 257, so I'm just wanting to dabble in it a little bit and see what it does. So I'm crossing my fingers. We'll see what happens. I got all the way to the range, and guess what I forgot? My freaking suppressor. So we're gonna try out N560 first.
Anyway, that was my thinking.
Yeah, I'm just saying that'll complicate it unless you run.
Well, that kind of depends on how many of one and what of the other.
The rim fires into 25 instead
That's
of
all you have to do is
bodies out.
Yeah. Everybody on rimfire, give yourself one of those targets over there. Everybody in service.
3629.
It's not shooting well. Surprise, surprise.
There's coupon if you only get one.
I wonder.
This gun just does not like this bullet.
Which so well.
Okay, so I get. Give me the ammo.
3609, same as first shot. Or really close first shot.
All right. Supply thing. Yeah,
Used to do that. Remember that?
but they were running 3 or 4 of those. I had one guy watching 3 or 4.
2893.
1100.
2893.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power.
Oh, this I think it was the stainless steel cases. That you could get like 50, 100.
They're touching.
2922.
But you had to have a special.
What the name is.
Okay.
They moved over.
Oh, that's half him away.
2949.
All right, switching over to N565. Oh, we'll see what happens.
Oh, no, this was completely up. Loading with an RCBS load map. And you can go in. I'll have to look.
3620.
Gave me the
Oh, come on. One good group with the LRX would be wonderful.
That 101 LRX.
3,000 rounds.
Shoot that one and
I
then.
feel like a slave on the ore ship. What am I doing as a
Nope.
Well, what can I say? And I've got oh my goodness.
3588.
Helicopter right above me. Okay, 257 Weatherby does not like the 101 LRX. I've about just given up on that bullet. However, 200 grain Accubond, a 300 Weatherby, and M560. Whoo! Not really happy about the velocity, but the accuracy was very good for an Accubond. So let me show you. So as I said, 257 Weatherby does not like the 101 LRX. There was another group. Yuck, yuck, yuck. All right. There is the 300 Weatherby, the N560. That is a half MOA group, maybe a little smaller. All right, time for N565 with a 200 grain Accubond and 300 Weatherby.
Okay. Well, Eiseners are required anytime you're up there on the con.
2881.
Let's hope this thing goes left.
Anytime you're touching them and in any condition, I don't care if they're good, we're still pointed down range. The way you're going to do that is bring
2884.
If this thing goes right at all, I have no idea what it'll group like.
No kidding.
Pointed down range. It's life if you're not pointed the right direction. So that's why we're incredible.
Yeah, I have no idea.
2864.
I was trying out M565, and it just happens. You know, you try new loads, they're not sighted in for that bullet and load. Don't know where the third shot went, but it seems like N565 probably likes this bullet too. We are just waiting for the range to go cold so I can pick up my Weatherby targets. While we're waiting, my friend Wyatt here, he has a 300 PRC. He's been shooting the 215 grain burger hybrids, right?
Yeah, just starting on that.
He's using the N570, and he wanted to do the Little Crow Gunworks ladder test method. I didn't show it on camera, but it did really well. So I thought I would just show you what those 12 shots did. So
yeah, let's take
there it is. So I don't have the notes right on me, but like his first shot was there, and then most of the shots went into here, which is a really good sign. The only thing interesting with N570 is the loads you used today. They were a little bit, you could say maybe undercharged, because you're getting 26 to 2,800.
Yeah, they were about 100 feet slower than what Weatherby recommends with Lapua brass. I'm using ADG brass, and normally they say, hey, back off a couple grains. So it was a bit underwhelming to see the velocities. I was thinking we were going to be a little bit higher, closer up into the 29s, 29.
Yeah, I think that's kind of your goal, is at least 29.
Yeah.
But that's showing a ton of promise. He did load up like his top load, and unfortunately he made a mistake with his scope, but so his first shot was off paper, but the next two were there. So that's kind of a what if, like, so we just got to try that again, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I'll load up a little bit hotter. It seems to have some promise. Hopefully get the velocity up there a little bit more, because if you didn't know, Burger came out with that new 217. It's based off of the shape of the 215, but it's more for hunting. So I want to further develop this and then switch right over that 217, confirm, and then have that as just a solid hunting load.
But yeah, that's a lot of promise with this ladder test. All right, back from the range, and I've measured the groups, got the velocities, and well, for the 257 Weatherby and the 101 LRX, pretty disappointing. That's just, unfortunately, has been what this gun has done with the LRX. And since I got more N560 and N565, I was just kind of crossing my fingers, hoping that maybe this powder could help it, but definitely not. Love the velocities. ES is still pretty good. Group, not good at all. 1.685. That's with N560. Switched it to N565. It does fill up the case more, but even worse. I think I'm just gonna have to call it quits with the LRX and the 257 Weatherby. For those wondering, maybe your gun just sucks. Actually, it doesn't. This is my pet load that I hunt with. This is actually a 110 grain Accubond. And no, this just isn't a one and, ooh, I got a half MOA group. This consistently gets half MOA. I've tested this a lot, and it just does half MOA with the 110 Accubond. It also loves the hammer bullets. Not a surprise at all. So the rifle definitely can shoot really well. Well, the surprise group of the day and pleasant surprise was with the 300 Weatherby and the 200 grain Accubond. I'm pretty happy about this. And for those that have been following my journey, you know that of recently I've been using the terminal ascent. And so why am I even doing more load development with the Accubond? I think it comes down to is that I can get the Accubond whenever I want. And I do think this 200 grain is a great bullet. And previously, other than with Reloader 22, you know, my gun has been okay with the Accubond, this 200 grain. It's, you know, around MOA. If N560 here can consistently do this, whew, I'm going to have to seriously consider switching from the terminal ascent to the Accubond. So this is just one 3-shot group, right? And I am not happy at all with the velocity. I plugged it into GRT and it was expecting 3050. That's kind of where I want to be with this, with N560. We're going to have to do a lot more testing. If I bump it up and get it at higher pressure, is it still going to be doing this? Who knows? It's a lot of fun to see that it's shooting sub half MOA, 0.466 inch group. Fortunately, trying a new powder with a bullet that's not sighted in for this gun, that's N565's 2 shots that I was able to see. So that's not terrible. Those are within a half an inch. And well, the 3rd shot is somewhere out here. Who knows what happened. All right, wouldn't be a video if I didn't pull up GRT. So this is kind of what I based it off of. My water grain capacity, length of barrel, and the seating depth. The Accubond Weatherby N560, GRT said I was going to get 3,043. And if I had gotten sub half MOA at 3,043, and it was consistent, I would quit there, right? But 2921 with an ES of almost 60 is not what I was hoping for. So let's go ahead and tune GRT to my barrel. So we're going to go to OBT. It really was getting 2921. It's going to be super low pressure. We're at 57,000 PSI. But we still have 100% burnt propellant. So that's telling me it's not a completely like fool's gold load, right? It will do. Let's do a recommendation. They say that if you go lower, it could do really well, but we could also change this to like, how about I want to go faster? So let's put in more powder. That's a little too much. At 71,000 PS, I don't need to be blowing my primers pockets, but a 3120. So that gives me a little bit of room to figure out what I want to do. I think I might go up to 80 grains and do a bunch of testing with this to see where it will shoot well and a good velocity. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was fun. 257 was disappointing with the 101 LRX, but a nice little surprise with the 300 Weatherby.